Here's another example of a simulation model unfolded as a story. It describes a situation where there's a person that owns a forest of 1 million trees, and they've contracted with a lumber company to cut 1,000 trees a year. And the question is, will this in fact maintain the health of the forest over time? And when the model is run, it goes ahead and shows that there is some decline in the number of trees, but it's manageable and as expected considering what the lumber company is cutting. Though if they look at the relationships as they unfold over time, they find out that the health of the forest is declining drastically so that it becomes critical after a period of 20 years. And when they look at it over an even longer time frame, they find out that the health of the forest actually oscillates back and forth because of the relationships between the lumber company and greed and, the typical kind of thing. And as you continue to unfold the model, then it shows what's inside of the attractiveness segment of the model, and you can read the notes, and what happens in the forest, so that it explains how it is that even though there's an agreement between the owner and the lumber company to only cut 1,000 trees a year, over time the lumber company ends up destroying the forest, and all of a sudden somebody says, what happened? The normal situation. The model itself, this was another example of how to do storytelling and unfold a simulation model, so that, again, the typical thing, I create myself a sort of a crib sheet of those API commands that I use over and over and over again, so that I don't have to go look them up, because I can't remember. So I go to my crib sheet and I copy and paste them in here, so that this is, you'll see this in almost every one of my storytelling models. This same 3 set of commands, it's always the run action in setup, so I just go copy it from someplace and paste it, and then I change the visibility to hide everything and close the folders, and go ahead and show the first message. Then I set up the parameters for the initial run the simulation, and go ahead and show the message. Then do the same thing. I change the parameters, run the simulation for 20 years, show the message, and do the same thing for 60 years. Then I go ahead and actually open the folder so that I can change the visibility on the content in the folder, and talk about what's happening in the attractiveness folder. Then I open the folder for the forest maintenance, change the visibility of the content, and then show the message to explain what's happening there. Then explain the whole idea of scope creep, how because of the more trees the logger cuts, the more money they make, and the more money they give to the owner, and it just goes downhill from there. What was it? John Muir said, nothing dollarable is safe. I've found it to be a most profound statement. And then finally, to close everything up at the end, show the message and allow the person interacting with the model to go ahead and set the parameters on the sidebar and run it to see the impact that the changes have on the outcome. And if you want to delve into the steps of the story in more detail, go ahead and clone this insight and make a copy of it that belongs to you, and then you can work your way through the individual steps of the story and understand it. So, hope you found this informative, and I'll see you in the next lecture. Bye.